Hey, we're live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Jurks. We're right on time. We're actually like 10 seconds early tonight. I like to be on time. It's good to be early for once. I want to thank everyone. I want to thank our mods. Make sure I'm thanking our moderators in the YouTube chat. Sometimes I forget to do so. They have been kicking butt. I want to thank them so much. 3 awesome women have been moderating our chat. Be very nice to them. We have a great show tonight. Had a great show last night, the night before. It's been crazy. But I'm really excited tonight because it's like having a friend back on the show, an old friend. And we haven't known each other that long, but it seems like an old friendship at this point. And it's funny because he mentioned that the first time he came on the show, he was a little nervous because I'm known as the cannabis guy, and he's retired, 30-year law enforcement, DEA specifically. And we've been like best buds ever since. And I really enjoy having him on the show. He's as I said, 30-year law enforcement career, most of it in the Drug Enforcement Agency, the DEA. Actually, administration. I got that wrong again. Let me say that again. Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA. He won the highest award for the DEA too. He won the highest. He was awarded. He's also a Hall of Famer of the Westfield State College Law Enforcement Hall of Fame. Great guy to have on Free Karen Reed. He was one of the first people, I would say, that, a lot of people talking about Bettero and some of the other attorneys, which they're all awesome. Thank God they're here. But before them, there was Sean on the Golf. Before any of these police came out, before anyone else put their name on it, he was there writing letters to Helena Rafferty, the Canton police chief. He put his name on it early. He's a Canton High School graduate, I think 1975. I think I have that right. I'm remembering correctly. So he's from Canton. He's got a lot, skin in the game, let's say. This is his hometown. He's originally from Boston, but went to high school, Canton High School. So he knows a lot about Canton. Came out strong for Karen Reed, one of the first ones. I'm going to welcome back to the show. I'm very excited to have him. Sean McDonough. Sean on the Golf is back. What's up, Sean?
Michael, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. You also have a new show, too, that's been blowing it up. What is it, Going Through the Motions?
Going Through the Motions. Like I was saying, a lot has changed since the last time we've been together. Jesus. It's amazing.
You've blown up. We're both, too. I want to make sure that people know. Yeah, I know you don't chase the numbers. You don't care about the numbers. I don't so much either, but I've been hyping it up more lately because I think it's about the community. We're both at right now 19,400 subs, both of us on our YouTubes. I want to get to 20,000 tonight on both of those accounts. So
that would be awesome.
We're gonna blast you out, and it's at S.A. McDonough. Follow his YouTube tonight, please.
Right. That's what it is. Yeah, but like I said, it was a couple months ago. It was 2:00 in the morning. I had just started the Facebook group page back again because I was off Facebook. And I just said, I can do this. Woke up at 2:00 in the morning. I told the story. I started studying how to get on StreamYard, do all this stuff. And literally at 4:00, I had a StreamYard account and I went live at 7:00 that night with Peter Murphy. And it's been an absolutely incredible ride since. And for all the followers out there, 19,400, whoever you are, I appreciate the hell out of everyone. All the people in the chat tonight. Mike, you've been killing it. Let's face it. You really have been killing it. And you were right. I got 35 years in the game, and I'm saying, holy shit, I'm going to go on his show. I don't know how his crew is going to take me. DEA for 28 years, knocking down marijuana grow houses down here in Naples. But I said, no. And I got to tell you, Mike, it was one of the best, most comfortable shows I've ever done has been with you. I owe it all to you, buddy. I do.
I owe it all to you, too, because, when I was going through my tough times, coming back really brought me out of my, you know what happened there. I was freaking the F out about a lot of stuff back then.
And I think we had an offline chat. And I said to you, don't let these motherfuckers push you around. And I went at them. I sat back and I said, bullshit. And I went right back. I went back at one guy's throat. I said, okay, you think you're all of that? Okay, you come at me. You throw everything you want. And you know something? He got exposed. They all got exposed. And I'm glad you came back. But I do have a an announcement. It's an announcement. All right. So back in between your hiatus and when I came back with you, I got a phone call, a very, very strange phone call from a very unusual number. I have never seen this number. It was from Georgia. Now, I thought it was Roky Rogue or some of those crazy people. They were calling me forever, right? Leaving me texts, on these crazy YouTube or Google numbers, right? Well, I said, I'm not going to answer this, but the person left me a voicemail. So I get the voicemail. Very nice young lady, very cordial. Mr. McDonough, could you please call me? I'm a producer. I won't say the name because I'm sworn to secrecy for a very, very popular, well-known syndicate magazine type shows, right? And I did. I called back. I said, okay, all right. I'm very suspect at the time. So no, she gets me through the whole thing. I said, well, wait a minute. How the hell did you find me? She says, Sean, this is 2024. We can find, if the trolls can find you, we can find you. I said, okay, how'd you find out of me? She said, I was going through YouTube and I saw your taillight presentation on Mike Crawford, the Young Jurks. And she gave you all kinds of accolades. Mike, within 2 days, they flew to Naples and we did a 4-hour taping all on the taillight presentation. Amazing. So it's in the works. There's going to be a whole series on this. Of course, depending how the trial goes, which I know it's going to go great. But I just wanted to thank you for that opportunity. So,
well, that was great. That was a great episode too. And we went to. It's so funny too because all these naysayers saying that you're always wrong, and I just look at back at the things like the taillight.
Right.
You haven't been wrong. It's showed in court. Like this is what they're.
Yeah.
So many things that you've broken first, that you talked about first, have come up in court where they said it would never come up in court, and it's come up in court over and over again, like the taillight, like Brian Wanless, like so much stuff.
And the thing is, if it was a normal district attorney, a normal assistant district attorney, no attorney would put this case on, and you can see how bad they're getting hammered. Okay, 19 days in the book. They still haven't touched the glove. They haven't put a glove on Karen Reed at all. Not one glove. They've started putting evidence on finally, but even the evidence is in conflict with themselves. It is. It truly is.
Yeah, they're conflicted with their own testimony and their own officers and their own. It's everything. It's like they can't keep their story straight.
No, it's really it's a travesty. And then, of course, obviously, through you, I got to meet Dylan Davies over there with Alternate Corner, and I've been doing the play-by-play with him with the trial every morning, and he has been awesome. So I really owe a lot to you, Michael. I really do.
I'm glad that I could help, and I feel like I owe a lot to you, Sean. It's mutual. You kept me going. I'm telling you. I mean, I had just had the best month ever on YouTube, and it all started with you back in January, basically, when I was at my lowest point ever.
Right,
Like I had to seek out mental health counseling.
And the thing about it too is that these trolls, they got to realize that there are a lot of us. Like when you push somebody, we're pushing back. Like we're not gonna shit. Like anyone that's ever tried to bully me, I've always stood up to them. Like,
of course.
I just needed to figure out what the hell was actually where I was at, and figure it out. And once I did, and it's just like I don't think they realize the more that they bully people, just average people, especially people from Massachusetts, we like to fight. I grew up fighting, push back, right?
Exactly. And that's the thing. I had a long talk with Dave McGrath. I said, Dave, don't let these fuckers push you. I'm sorry, guys. So, I'm going to try to keep it. Don't let them push you around. Don't let them win. Fight back. And I think Dave, I don't know. I don't know. I just think Dave kind of, I don't know what happened. So I hope he's okay.
I think that he may not be strong in his beliefs on the case. I think that's really,
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm not
No, there isn't.
if Dave's not sure, like, because that's where I was. I needed to for me, I needed to know that Karen Reed was innocent. And when I
Right.
started having doubts on that, that's when I stepped back, reevaluated everything, and then I came back even stronger because I looked at everything without any of the hype, without any of the
Right.
followers, without any of the money behind me. Just said, you know what? She's innocent. And I am so strongly in that conviction. And a lot of it was about like the taillight, what you were doing, showing the actual evidence, looking at the guy's body, looking at the car, and saying,
Right.
how the hell did this happen this way? It doesn't make any sense.
You know, it really didn't. And, you know, I had the extra added intel, right? From just doing the job, not only the job, but my instinct and my intuition. And I just said, wait a minute. And then, of course, Natalie, the famous Natalie, the German, she gave me the whole file. I was able to get into that. It was almost like cheating, you know, and I didn't like that, but, you know, some hell with it. I went with it. And there was nuggets in there. I said, oh my God, this is serious. And the FBI, their footprint is all over this, Michael. And you will see, and you will see. Even when it looks its worst in the trial, it's still all good for Karen. It really is, because they know how this all ends. I am telling you, they know how this ends. There's no doubt about it. And trust me, people, we know how it ends too. Just please hang in there. That's all you got to do. Just hang in. Don't listen to the noise.
Now, I'm noticing you have a microphone today. Have you always had a microphone? Or is that new?
This is new, my friend. This is new. I got some kind of crazy Rodecaster Pro 2 thing with all the buttons and I do have a mic.
That's what I got. That's a nice
I got
system.
the thing, and I got the Shure whatever the hell this thing is called with the Rode.
Yep.
Yeah, I figured, what the hell? I thought my first show, I said, this may be one and done, and it's been going on since. So
you can take telephone calls on that too. Like
I heard, yes, that's what I was gonna.
How it's easy.
Yeah, right. Just got a Google number or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, you get a Google number and have it forwarded, and you're good to go. I use the Bluetooth. There's also a wire thing. I could never.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I mean, there's so much stuff. So much. It's beautiful.
That's great.
Yeah,
I love it. Sean's invested heavily on this now.
I am. Hey, what the hell? As long as I can push the go button, I'm all set.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
now they're laughing at me. Someone said it took them 2 weeks to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, some people still, you know what? Some people have been going for like a year and still haven't figured it out. So, and like basically for me, I had to make sure it wasn't about all the people, supporting, because sometimes, as a creator, you don't know if it's your audience messing with your head. I just had to make sure that I knew where I was going.
Right. And like I said, for me sitting here with you, being on this side, being like the guest is so much, I'm so much comfortable. I feel comfortable when you're doing like for instance, last night. I mean, I went 2 hours straight talking into a stupid camera. I mean, I'm a people person. I gotta press the flesh. I'm looking at a stupid camera. I'm saying, how the hell can I keep a conversation with a camera but then talk for 2 hours? It's mind blowing, because I need someone to look at. I really do. It's a crazy phenomenon, but
isn't it?
Here we are.
That's why I always have people on the show a lot.
Oh,
I have the same issue, Sean. I'm like, when I'm by myself, then I end up just talking to the people in the chat. So I mean,
right.
that.
Yeah. And at some point, you're growing so much. You can't give everyone love. You can't press them, because you have so many people. That damn chat goes so fast. It's amazing. It's just amazing how fast things go. But anyways.
So let's talk about the trial, because so much has happened here since you've come. Who do you think are the worst witnesses so far in terms of, for the prosecution, best for the defense? Like, which ones were the biggest train wrecks, you think?
I have to say, the majority of the government witnesses, or the Commonwealth's witnesses, were very good in the beginning when they were on their direct examination. Okay? They were. But as good as they were, when they got onto their cross-examination, they fell apart. I thought Timmy, the little kid Timmy, the EMT guy, he was so, I mean, he knew the make of the equipment he was using, but he got so caught up on everything. He started seeing jackets that weren't there. He started hearing things that he was never told. And unfortunately, he got hit. He got stung, I thought Paul and Aaron were great. Let me come back a little bit. I think Lally has done a travesty to his own case. When Dave Yannetti came out of the blocks and said, my client, Karen Reed, has been framed for this crime. He came out of the blocks like dashing out. You were in track before, right? You know how it is out of those. He came out. And why didn't Lally counter that? Lally spent 5 weeks defending the third-party culprit against the defense, making the defense's case. He made the case for Karen Reed.
Right.
And if I'm a juror, I'm trying to be objective. If I'm a juror. So I think Lally is the worst guy on that whole thing.
Worse than the witnesses. Yeah.
He could put Jesus Christ in the stand. He's going to mess it up. That's unfortunate, right? I think the poor girl yesterday, Hartnett, all right, listen, I feel bad for her. And as you know, I think it was Jackson, right? Yeah. Jackson went really he could have lit her up. He backed off because she was a great witness for Karen Reed.
Right.
When she says the glass was just lying on top, I mean, come on, right? And she made the case for them. The hair is on now. I always thought it was on the bumper. Now we know it was on the side. It was perpendicular, wasn't parallel. And then it moved. 2 photos, you could see it go back and forth. It moved from my golf swing, which is a reverse C, to a regular C. It was crazy. It really was. So, like I said, Matt McCabe wasn't bad. He was good until he got smacked around. I thought Jen McCabe was vicious. She was. But then again, she got too cute. I mean, they all got a great story until they don't, right? It's like that. It's like that Mike Tyson. You're all good. You all have a plan until you get punched in the nose. And then and that's what happened. You got Jackson or you got Yannetti, and then they had no plan. And it fell apart. That's unfortunate, but I really think Lally has done an injustice to his own case, which brings me to the point, is he trying to tank the case? Like I said, is he trying to tank his own case? They got the guy out there, O'Hara. That unit is not for crime scene services. It's not a crime scene investigative service. They go out in the woods. They go find bodies out in the woods. They go do massive crowd control. They go up to the mountains when there's avalanche. That's what they do. You never, I'm pretty sure Mark will tell you, imagine him and prosecutor. He's a CSI guy say, yes, we go shoulder to shoulder and trounce through the crime scene. You never do that. You do it extremely methodical. One guy leads the show, one way in, one way out. You never trounce on a crime scene. Never. I don't care what the conditions are. You mark it off. You get diagrams. You get measurements. You never use GPS. This is what the problem was. And I'm thinking Proctor and Tully called in this unit, and think about it. This is the other part, Michael. What value was John O'Keefe to them when they had to go through all the approvals? They couldn't get a unit out in the most favorable conditions. At 7:58, when John was pronounced dead, that was a Mass State Police case. They fought over who was coming out. I mean, and that's the part that I'm in this for John O'Keefe, all right? I truly think he has been so trounced on. His memory has been literally it's expunged. It really has. And those cops did absolutely nothing for him. They was too worried about the end result than getting justice for John. And that is the sad reality, Michael. It really is. So, so let me think here. I think Colin Albert, and I said it with Dylan, when the judge came back and she went out in her chambers and made that decision and let those videos in, that was the turning point for the case. When they exposed Colin Albert
Bang,
for the
bang.
little shit that he is, and when Alan Jackson got to use his words in all their glory, I mean, Alan just said, "I'm gonna fuck you up."
Yeah, I couldn't believe he said that. Yeah, and he made him say it. Remember, you made him say it. He's like, "No, you didn't say F up. You said say it, say it,
say it." Yeah, and awesome. And so and I do remember that judge giving him the up and down look, and then the other part, what I thought was a highlight, is when he said, "Jen McCabe, Miss McCabe, say the words. Say house long to dying." She wouldn't say it. That is absolutely consciousness of guilt. Absolutely. No doubt. So, so they got the free
she's so upset about. That's what she's so upset about, that everyone knows about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, and you can see it in her body language. I mean, she tried everything in her power to discredit Karen, talking about, she was a glorified babysitter, talking about that some other girl was more important to John than Karen. She tried everything in the book. And at the end of the day, she ended up doing herself, because when she had to say the 227 was deleted, that was lights out. I mean, they sat down on that one. That was beautiful. And it's not over. And then our friend over there, Kevin, he thinks the taillight, they'll never touch the taillight again. He's sorely mistaken. He is so sorely mistaken. He thought the soccer mom, they would never talk about 227. They did. And they're going to keep hammering her on that and the whole thing. And they're going to hammer the taillight, because that is the crux of their case. If they planted the evidence, it's over. He knows that. Google 227 is also a biggie. Those are the two huge parts of this case. Huge.
You know how many things Kevin's gotten wrong?
Oh, and he says he's gotten it all right.
Yeah. How about the embedded glass?
Oh,
they all went around with this embedded glass thing. There was no embedded glass.
Yeah. Then they're saying, "Oh, it was frozen." Well, I'll tell you right now, it wasn't frozen. Let's play devil's advocate. She hit him. Well, guess what? It wasn't frozen at 12:30. She had to drive to One Meadows into a garage. It didn't get frozen then. And then she comes out you see that video. I've got the soundtrack. The wind is whipping. And then she bumps into John's car. That glass would be gone. History. Let me tell you, it is an embarrassment, Mike. What they did yesterday was, I was on the show at Dylan. I had no words. I had no words, because I could not believe what I was actually seeing and hearing. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. And it's an embarrassment. It truly is. I feel bad for that family. If they haven't put it together by now, they never will. But it's going to happen sooner than later. It will. So, oh, God.
What do you think is going to happen tomorrow? Any thoughts? What might happen?
Okay, so they got to finish. Oh, this poor girl. I mean, the girl with the short hair. They're going to finish up with her. That girl. She, as of sitting on the stand yesterday, she had 5 years on that job. So that means when she caught this case, she had literally 2.5, barely 3 years. Like I said, this is all they could get for John O'Keefe. They knew this case was coming down the pike. They couldn't give John the best of the best. They couldn't get the true CSI guys out to search that crime scene, or at least block it off and wait till favorable weather. Post a car out there, block it off, get a tent, do something. It would have been better. They could have gotten things. They didn't even, that unit, the CERT, they have a huge mobile command center. They couldn't even get that out. But the fact is, you're getting these two forensic scientists, I guess they are, and one couldn't pass her test on DNA evidence. The other one's got 2.5 years. Where's your most experienced people? This is where you call out all the shots for a fallen brother, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. And it's an embarrassment. It truly is. And I went further yesterday. I said, where the Christ is the Boston police hierarchy? Why are they not calling bullshit on this investigation for one of their own? And it appears, Michael, and I hate to say this, it appears that they're choosing Brian Albert over John O'Keefe. And I don't know if you saw my there was a guy that wrote a letter to me today. He's a Boston cop.
Yeah, I did see that. I want to talk about that.
That is, I mean, I'll tell you, this is the type of the stuff I get all the time. And it's been since, well, it was happening beforehand, but like the floodgates opened when Boston Sully came on my show a couple weeks ago. And,
a former Boston cop,
former Boston cop, showed his face, came on the show on Friday night guest night, right? I got a guest night on Friday nights, and he came in, and the uptick on Boston cops and local cops coming forward now is incredible. But this guy, I had to copy and paste it. That was an amazing, absolutely amazing letter.
Now, you said that the Boston police, the power structure isn't coming to bat for John O'Keefe. What about the Patrolmen's Association? They're like really vocal about anything related to Boston police,
So here we go.
Where are they?
You know this, right? Where the head goes, the body follows. So these guys, I'm sure they want to, and they've told me back channels, Sean, listen, it's so political, right? We've been told to sit back, but quietly they'll say, we know he's a piece of shit. We know you're right, Sean. You say that was his calling card. We've known that for years about this guy. The fact that Canton PD, and they told me themselves, a very good cop up there, controversial cop himself, told me to my face that if he was in a bar, he would leave if he saw Brian Albert come in, or if he saw Brian Albert in the bar, he'd turn around. That's how toxic this kid is. Toxic.
Now, where do you think that political power comes from within BPD? Is it like favors? How does that work? Like, how does a guy like Brian Albert have so much power within that structure?
That's the thing. According to a lot of cops, this kid Albert came over from the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office, and he must have had a lot of juice because he didn't do much time on the street until he got a very favorable assignment, and it just took off from there. Now, even though he was only a sergeant, I say that only in quotation marks, he was in charge of all overtime. Listen, the gig at the police department in Boston is OT. These guys are hammering, knocking down huge coin. And Brian Albert at Christmas parties, he'd punch you out if you didn't give up an envelope for all the good work he gave his guys. He got kickbacks.
So he took kickbacks for signing.
He was known for that.
Wow.
And then the sexual things that this guy talked about, it's been known. He did it to Lank. He did it to other guys. This is what's going on. And like I said, shame on Lank. Lank could have been a hero. Paul Gallagher could have been a hero. I just call him King Mofo. He's King Mofo in my books. He had the chance to stop this in its tracks at 7:00 in the morning, and they failed. They absolutely failed. And a lot of that has to do with both Lena Rafferty and, of course, the junior mofo, Kenny Berkowitz. That's their problem. That's the problem right there. Where the head goes, the body follows. And unfortunately, that's what we have here. Not all, because there's a couple of good sources I have that came out of that department. So
tell me more about Berkowitz, because I just always feel like he's the fixer. Like, what?
Well, yeah, there's no secret. And, I had to tread really lightly on this information that happened in 2011, 2012. I got word, all right, from a very, very high-level source that Berkowitz tipped off a federal investigation back in the day that was targeting Rob Gooley, all right? This informant was main store. You couldn't get any better. And I got a phone call from the agent who was responsible for the investigation. And that agent goes, how the fuck did you know about that, Sean? You were somewhere down in Peru, floating on a boat somewhere. I said, I have great sources. She says, that person said, well, whoever you have is absolutely right. We put that device up and we saw Berkowitz go in and we saw Berkowitz come out. and 2 people were waving at us. Hey, how you doing? And the case sunk. So he clearly compromised a federal investigation. And at the time, Gallagher was a task force agent assigned to DEA. Now, did he tip it off? My bet's that he was loyal to the head of the agency. And I think, Berkowitz is all about his reputation. He could have really cleaned house, but it always falls back on failure to supervise. And he failed to supervise, right? That Rob Gooley, right, was found nodding off at the range with guns in his hand because he was so doped up with the OxyContin he was taking. I mean, that's how bad it was. There was accidents that he covered. That was a tragedy. And that kid almost died the day that he was turning his stuff in. And they covered that up also. And when I say they, I say Helena Rafferty, she's no good, and Kenny Berkowitz. And she knows I know. She knows exactly I know because she knows who I have in my corner. All right? Because she exposed the person in my corner, right? And that person went right to her and made no bones about, yes, all right, you exposed me and you were right, but I have Sean McDonough, and I've been talking to Sean McDonough since April. So that person put it right out there to Helena. And Helena, Rita, if you're listening, all you people in Canton, whatever you can do, get that contractor negated. She needs to go. Actually, the whole top, down through Gallagher, has to go. Kelleher, your buddy Kelleher, gotta go. Sherry,
go.
I didn't even discover Sherry.
You don't want to make Tommy the new police chief.
Jesus. I mean, so I had a tiptoe, but that was nothing. There's other stuff that came out that on that poor kid, Sean Casey, that got taken out of his car, and he was in a car accident by John Meadows, one Meadows. They couldn't find the body, right? They looked, couldn't find the body, and someone found a passerby found the body hours later. They said, good sources say that Berkowitz ordered that all the dash cam video be erased. Now, I mean, come on.
The fixer, the cover-up crew.
That's right. Well, let's face it. Even though, the lard-ass Higgins, he said, this foolish Siri is talking to me right now over nothing. I never said the word Siri. Anyways, they said, hey, if you want to hide the bodies, this is the guy to talk to. He denied it on the stand, but I guarantee that's why Rafferty asked for that portion, that 7-minute portion of that speech to be erased.
It's not there. So, clearly.
Right. And he was, but that guy does have the email that she sent to him. So if he wants to come forward, he has it. But the thing is, that Higgins was the front runner for selling tickets. He was the guy. And I kept saying to myself, where is ATF? Why didn't ATF give a plaque? Everyone gives a plaque. I've been to 1,000 of these going away parties. And I always said, why the hell wasn't the SAC, the special agent in charge of ATF there? Or at least Higgins should have given a plaque. And now we know why. He did.
He did.
He gave a speech. Yeah, and it was cut out.
It was erased.
Yeah. So, but again, from what I'm hearing, and a lot of my stuff has been good, that Berkowitz is in hiding. He's ducking the subpoena to testify for the.
Where's he hiding? What do you think?
Well, here's the thing. Well, they've gone to the wife's house. She says, I don't know where he's at. Everyone's, oh, Sean, he's sick. He's got cancer. All right. Well, he's out buying pizzas not too long ago. Someone said they had him dancing. I'm fine. I'm glad. Listen, I don't wish any ill will on the guy. Yeah. But for Christ's sake, if you're ducking a subpoena, you're not that sick. You are not that sick. And I don't know. And something else. Oh, so anyways, he's got a place down in Orleans. A good informant gave up his dress. Well, guess what? They took the mailbox down. This is how bad this guy wants to have. The mailbox is not even there.
You got rid of the mailbox. Oh, my God.
I just said, listen, cut his check off. You want to find this guy? He'll find a penny if he could. He won't miss his retirement check. I can tell you that. So, anyways.
All the money.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty bad. Listen, it's how this is how corruption goes. All right. It's a slippery slope. And, it starts out, with stealing some steak tips, right? It starts out like
that
that, and you
happened.
cover
That
that.
happened. They covered that up, didn't they? They
Of
did.
course
They
it
covered
did.
that up.
The poor victim called the fire department to report it. And the fire department chief was Charlie Duty. All right. And Charlie Duty said, I got to call the cops. And he called the cops, and they buried it. But the problem was, back then, the fire department and the cops shared the same space. And this guy came in with a big bag of steak tips and lobster rolls.
Well, lobster rolls. Oh boy.
And he's giving them out. And all of a sudden, Charlie Dooley comes up, get those fucking things out of my station. And this is how it happens. And then you keep multiplying, and that's how a cop ends up dead. And that's why you have a murder that's being covered up by your own people.
Now we're talking about this. This happened in Canton. One of the police officers was breaking into a local business and stealing food and bringing it back to the station. Right. Mm-hmm. Steak tips and lobster rolls and
right. It was a famous place. It was one of these places where the lady did what do you call them? Banquets. It was a banquet place, right? Buffets and all that stuff. And she kept seeing all these steak tips at the end of the month, like pounds and pounds and pounds of big coin. So she puts a camera out and she catches the cop. And she said she was so nervous she had to call the fire department to report it. He says, I can't take this. I can't take this this report. And they ended up calling the cops. And Peter Murphy was one. And his supervisor failed to act.
And this is why the town has no complaints against the police.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They cover them all up. They cover them all up.
It's a slippery slope. And so it's like, even with DEA, they talk about how the guys go bad, right? Yeah. And they always talk about the slippery slope. So you got a guy goes on a search warrant. He's by himself. You should never be by yourself, especially when you're searching a room. Always go in two agents, because it's how you cover yourself. Because the bad guy is always going to claim that there was money stolen. Money. Yeah. Well, so he goes into a room, he finds $100, he takes $100. It gets easier. Next thing you know, he's taking $100,000 on big cases. It's that slope, and that's it. It happens. So you start out with steak tips, and you end up with fucking murders. Yeah. You end up a Boston cop being murdered, and it's being covered up.
It's like the FBI used to take bottles of wine from Whitey Bulger, and next thing you know, it was envelopes for the mistresses and covering vacations, and the criminals. That's how it started. The
criminals know this, and it starts very, very innocently, right? And I'll tell you a story, right? Graft is a big thing. When I was a kid, when I was a rookie cop in DC, right? They always talk about, if you get offered a cup of coffee there was a place down there, not Special K, Krusty Kremes, right? You go in there a midnight shift, and the person said, hey, you want to give us, here's a coffee and a cup of, no, I'll pay for it. No, it's for you, right? And I said, no. They said, at least offer to pay. Okay, fine, offer to pay. I'm not going to fight with this guy behind me, so I'll take the coffee. Thank you very much. But, so I did get a place, right? And it was a restaurant down in this mall in Crystal City. And I used to work there as a bouncer at midnights on Friday and Saturday nights. So it was a deal. Sean, you can work for me and I'll give you food. So I'd go in there, right? I'd mark out on a Friday before I was working evenings. I'd call out and I'll say, Agent 85, I'm down at 10 Necco Street, whatever the hell it was, right? And I'd mark out to eat. Well, the worst thing I ever did was I told my buddy, he goes, hey, why are you always going down that one place all the time on Friday and Saturday nights? I said, listen, I work for the guy well, guess what? The boss
showed up.
The boss calls me, says, Sean, what are you doing to me? There's 30 guys every night coming in, wants pizza, wants steak tips, wants this. I said, oh God, it's the worst thing you do. Don't ever give up your secrets. Don't ever give up your place to other cops. They can never keep a secret. And that's the truth. I'm telling you.
Yep.
I learned my lesson. But anyways.
I bet.
Oh, God.
I used to do the beer delivery, and it was the same way. We'd find
Right.
out those certain spots. You'd always get a free Coke, but
Exactly.
back in the day, it used to be a free beer, but that was
Right.
before my time.
Yeah.
Guys would tell
Right.
me about that. Every stop they would have a beer. But
Sure.
I'll say like Kowloon, for instance, and Saugus. Anytime we delivered beer there, they would give us the whole container full of food. So
Yeah.
everyone would want to make that their lunch break.
Of
Kowloon.
course. Of course. Of course.
Cabaret too gave you steak tips. That was a good
Oh
one.
man.
Good
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah. Yeah,
Cabaret.
buddy. You know,
We got a lot of super chats. We got one from your partner there, the alternate
oh, there
corner.
he is.
He said
There he
5
is.
pounds from England
Dylan.
over there. He
Look
said
at
you're
him.
both amazing, smashing it on YouTube. Keep up the
Oh.
great work. And Mike, don't let Sean explode too much tonight because he needs you tomorrow.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
We're keeping it calm tonight.
Dylan scored an exclusive the other day.
Kelly Reed.
Kelly Reed on live. It was beautiful. Beautiful.
I get excited when she's in the chat.
I know. But she came on. It was great.
Phenomenal. Very good.
See you tomorrow, Dylan. 8 o'clock sharp.
8 a.m. You'll be on there with the alternate corner at 8 a.m. and you do your 6 p.m. shows.
Yes.
Tomorrow night.
Right.
And it's at S.A. McDonough. People, I want you to make sure you're subscribing. I want to put that in the super chat and pin that. Let me make sure. Yeah, you go ahead and talk a little more while I'm doing that.
No, let's get back to the trial. And what I want to say is this. Let's go back to what we really honest to God know. Okay. We know poor John O'Keefe was killed around 12:30-ish, 1 o'clock-ish, right? Whoever you want to believe, on the 29th, early morning, 29th of January, 2022. Okay. And he was found at 6:03. We know that. Okay. Now forget everything else except this. A couple of days later, Karen Reed is arrested, right? And she is then arraigned the following day. And then and we have an affidavit, right? That's in support of her arrest. And it talks about taillights. It talks about this. It talks about whatever. All right. It's very early on, just enough to get probable cause to arrest her. Okay. One day after she's arraigned, somebody walks into her attorney's office and says, wait a minute. Your client did not kill John O'Keefe. John O'Keefe was killed inside that house. This is extremely important for everyone to remember. See, the other side doesn't want you to give any thoughts to this at all. If it wasn't for that man, Steve Scalin, and I know he's a hot wire topic, okay? But I'm going to tell you right now, he didn't get this information out of the wind, all right? And it's amazing. And the takeaway about Steve Scalin is this. He tells Yannetti, John was killed inside that house, down the basement. He was attacked by the kid and his uncle, Brian Albert. Not only that, the dog got involved and bit him up. And then about 20 minutes later, he had passed out. He was knocked out. 20 minutes later, he starts convulsing and he starts vomiting. Okay. Now, I've heard a lot of stories before, and the stories are mostly general. That was about as specific as you can get. And I'm telling you right now, Steve Scalin was not there, but someone very close to Steve gave him that firsthand knowledge. He went in to Yannetti, and he did the right thing for somebody. He was going there for somebody. He wasn't going there for Brian Albert, I can tell you. He wasn't going there for Brian Higgins. He was going there for somebody, okay? And for whatever reason, he didn't want to go the route and sign an affidavit. And I agree with that. I agree, because this is huge, huge stuff. Because he was a boxing partner with Albert. He was in Suffolk County Sheriff's Office with Albert. These guys knew each other, all right? And I'm just saying, what do we know? We knew that. We knew John was dead. We knew Karen was charged with his death. And isn't it amazing how quickly everything turned, right? And I'm telling you right now, the FBI was involved within days of this knowledge. They were. So that leads me to believe, okay, that even though Scanlon puts up a big game, okay, someone very close to him who had firsthand knowledge was the person that told him, and he was the reason that the FBI got involved from the jump street on this case. And it's also possible that they were already on something around the time of that murder of John, that they linked up in their public corruption case. There is definitely a crossover. I can't pin it down why, but I've seen the files. I've seen the files that Natalie gave me, and there's a suggestion many times in those files that there was information very early on in March of 2022 that the defense for Karen Reed knew how John was killed, and they knew how the DA's office was framing her. That's March of 2022. And people, I'm just telling you right now, that's what we know. And all this other stuff is fluff, because unlike us, we're smarter. Other people are buying the reports that were created by the gatekeepers. They needed Karen to go down. None of the stuff that they reported is true or honest. And we're seeing it come to fruition. We all thought that I was saying, my God, they must have crashed that cocktail glass into the bumper. Now we find out it was just laying there. I mean, this is how crazy. I thought I thought the hair was on the damn bumper. How how can anyone with a straight face? Lally, he's a smart guy. How the hell can anyone believe a friggin' hair can stay on a bumper, on a side panel, perpendicular, vertical, up and down, in the wind? All right. People, just remember something. All of us here tonight, we're on the right side of history. I'm telling you this. You see that defense team. You see Karen Reed, all right? Don't be put off by little faces she may be making at her table, right? She may have been told not to be too happy. Let's face it, all right? But don't be confused, all right? They're very happy. They're very.
I hate
confident.
that. I hate that stuff. The criticism of her, because it's it feels like it's just because she's a successful woman,
right?
It's like she either smiles too much or grimaces too much. It's like wait,
right?
So no matter what she does, basically you're going to complain about it. I mean, just come on. How would you? I think people need to consider too. Like, how would you act when cameras are in your face every single day? And you've been framed for something you haven't done. Like, my faces might be pretty,
Well, what I love when they do get on her, and when she looks behind her, right? She's looking at someone in particular, and it's probably her father, and she's saying, "See," and she's giving it's all about the eyes, and that little squint she gives, that's it. She broadcasts everything with her eyes. It really does, and she does. All right. And this little thing about kisses and drinks, I said it before. I said it before even knowing about the stupid text. I said, this case is about kisses and drinks. I got a friggin' shirt.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Kisses and drinks. And and who knew that a year later there was kisses and drinks going on? But hey, who cares? All right. That's not justification for murder too.
It's
anything.
Like Canton Housewives. It's
my
unbelievable.
God.
It's like, this one didn't like this one. And
so, and, I put a post out today. I know you read my post. And I said, eventually Brian Albert will be charged. He's going to be charged federally.
You think so?
And, yeah, I do. I absolutely do. I absolutely do. Because I'm telling you, whoever Steve Scanlon went to Yannetti for, you can guarantee that person who's very close to him has spoken to the FBI way back when. Okay. And contrary to what the other people like Kevin and his camp and Kate wants to say, Yannetti didn't go to them. They went to Yannetti. And they said, you are a victim of your civil rights being violated. Just remember, the public corruption is bad, right? But when the Civil Rights Division of the FBI and the DOJ gets involved, that's a whole nother planet. You don't want them. And I'm telling you, the big thing was in March when they said, they know how the DA office has framed her. That means they know how her civil rights were violated, and it's coming out. And like I said, they're not making any moves because they don't have to. They don't. They don't have to do a thing.
Better for them to wait. Yep.
They're waiting. They're just going to wait. They're getting so much intel. You know, it's uncanny how much intel they're getting.
I bet they're just collecting it all. Here's a good comment. They want to know what percentage, Sean, do you think of police officers are squeaky clean? What percentage are compromised, at least somewhat? What percentage have gone bad?
All right. So you can't be an altar boy. All right. Like, listen, I was an altar boy, but I was an altar boy in the city of Boston, in Mattapan. Right. And there's a couple people in my old neighborhood that remembers me, but you got to have a sense of the criminal element. Right. So I went one way and other people went other ways. Right. But you have to have a criminal mindset. You can't be Opie or Bonnie Fife and work in the city of Boston or Washington, D.C. or in the jungles of Peru and not know what the fuck the deal is. You're going to get killed. You will get killed every time. So to answer that question, squeaky clean doesn't mean you're a bobo, okay? Squeaky clean means I'm not going to be corrupted. I would never get corrupted. Did I take a cup of coffee down now and then? Yeah. Did I have a couple pieces of pizza before I went to work? Yeah. Killed me for that. I always paid. I already had to deal with the thing. What percentage are compromised? You know, I really don't think the new cops coming on are like this. I think they're scared shitless to do their job. I wouldn't want to be a cop today with all this. Listen, it's not a good thing because video cameras, not to say that you're doing anything wrong, but cops don't need the aggravation. You don't get paid anything to be a cop, but you're not going to go out there and do your job and lose it because you did something stupid, right? That's not even really, and you get fired because the department can't take another hit. It can't. And at least and what percentage have gone bad? Well, I can tell you, we get the Brian Albert types, right? There is something in Brian Albert's past. I'm not a doctor, but I know people, right? This guy, when I would go out with my buddies who were cops, right? You should feel the sense of safety when you're with your own people, right? Right? Now, let's take it on any other thing. If I was a Mattapan guy and I went out with a bunch of guys from Charlestown, I would not feel safe. I know I would probably get my ass kicked. Just like a Charlestown guy came over to Mattapan, or it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's different neighborhood.
So you should feel very safe with your own. There's at least 12 guys that cannot say that today. And there's a fireman that almost lost his life because of this kid. And he has been covered, which suggests to me, and I'm going to say this right now, he has done some shady shit for some powerful people, okay? And those Stingray boxes, I'm going to tell you right now, those Stingrays, right, are little boxes that his department has and his unit has to chase down fugitives, right? But you need warrants. You need to have a warrant. If you get a lead and it's one of your fugitives and he has a cell phone, you have to convince a judge to give you a warrant to click in the number on these boxes, triangulate, and get the location and listen in. You can listen in. Now, if you give a guy like Brian Albert that box and he's off duty and he's got a politician say, hey, Brian, give me some information on my competition. Guess what Brian's going to do? He's going to do it. He's going to make money and he's going to put it in a black book. This guy I did this for. Think about that. And I believe this whole thing was this. I ain't going down. My nephew's not going down. My family's not going down. Or if we do, we're all going down. That's what I think this is all about. And that's why the public corruption unit of the FBI is knee deep in this. And then the civil rights division of the DOJ is all over Michael Morrissey and that district attorney's office for violating Karen's civil rights. There it is. I said it. If I'm wrong, fine. But that's me.
That's amazing. to think about the
And I
stingrays
would
being
love,
used
yeah.
for
Listen,
political
we had these
favors.
things called triggerfish. This is
Yeah.
generational now.
Right.
Back in Peru. Now, the thing about Peru, the USG would give our specialized units these boxes, right? It was Michael was amazing. You know the old scanners, you can listen to police radios, right? I'm telling you, you
That's
punch
what
in
they
a guy's number, you're on his phone. You listen to everything.
Oh my God.
It was, but down now, the funny thing about my buddies with the CIA, they say, Sean, you guys in law enforcement, because they're intel, right? You guys in law enforcement, you have that pesky thing called the U.S. Constitution. We don't need the fucking Constitution. We do what the hell we want to do.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, in Peru and Colombia, we're not working for the United States government, right? We're working for their government. We're helping them. And there's no laws about the Fourth Amendment down in Peru, or the jungles of Peru, or Cali, or Medellin, or
You
Bogota.
use all that stuff.
I'm telling you, oh hell yeah! Listen, we have this other stuff. You send your email, we got you for everything. You open up that email, it's over with.
Yeah,
it's done.
Yeah, because the feds gave out those Stingray machines to a lot of the local police departments.
Yeah, right.
And said, don't say they came from us.
Right.
Don't tell anyone you have them.
Exactly.
Use them and then do a parallel construction to get your bus. Like basically use it as intelligence, but don't use it for proof in the
Michael,
case.
You're absolutely right. And that's how it evolved. But back in the day, we had this thing called, it was a black ops, right? We had a specialized unit in headquarters that were on very specialized, I'm talking about super secret stuff. We get calls at nighttime and say, hey, listen, you don't know where this came from. It's up to you to develop the probable cause, but there's going to be a yellow van at the corner of walk and don't walk at 4:00. Get your probable cause and hit it, because there's about $5 million, $6 million in that van, and there's going to be about 6,000 kilos in the house that he's going to.
Exactly.
We would get this all the time, and do not, absolutely not report that in a affidavit or a report. And it happened all the time.
Yeah, we pulled them over for a taillight, and we just happened to stumble across it. We searched it. Look what we found.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and it's so funny because like a lot of times, like when I was looking through court filings and stuff, I would always look for that. Like, did they get a tip off? Did someone call, like an anonymous caller? Because that's usually what you're talking about. I've heard about that happening with the feds.
We would have to be extremely creative in our reports, and sooner or later, right? Because discovery, you always
the
had
defense
to try.
People finally figured it out.
So I would always say, on such and such a date, confidential source XYZ told me that Joe Flacco and Mike Crawford were meeting. Well, the confidential source was Joe Flacco.
Right.
So the defense attorney, who the fuck else was with you, Joe? And he goes, I don't know. He said, you had to be. McDonough saying, this guy was with you and Mike Crawford. Who is it? He said, I don't know. It's Joe Flacco the whole time. Because he was working for me. We have to protect the source at all costs. So that's those little tips. Just little tips. That's how it goes. But then again, some guys are sloppy, and then the whole thing gets blown and everyone finds out. And, then you have to develop Joe Flacco. Listen, I could have used Joe for phone. I mean,
how about Joe Duda?
Joe Duda.
He's a Plymouth State legend. Football player.
Right.
I saw him play against Bridgewater State. That's so fascinating that you brought up the stingrays can be used for politics, because I've been, I've been involved in a lot of political campaigns over the years, and that would be very useful. Like, I can't imagine a cop using a stingray against a political campaign for some shade like that. That could definitely, that's just shocking to think about, and think about the way the power structure works around here. Like, I could see that actually.
And you wonder, what juice did Brian have going in to the Boston Police Department to rise as quickly as he did? And listen, he was no blue chip or blue flamer. He was that part of the scene in Training Day when they find the money and they're going to give the new kid a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And Denzel Washington goes, hey man, you comfortable? Oh, I'm comfortable. Brian Albert was very comfortable. Where was that? You know why? Because he knew exactly what he didn't want. Why would he leave that job? He had it made. He wasn't going up the ladder to lieutenant. He would lose the power. He had tons of power. Why the hell would he want to be a lieutenant or a captain with all that bullshit he had? He had it made. He knew exactly what he was doing. And guess what? They covered for him. If you read that letter that kid sent me today, they covered for him big time. Huge. So.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, they, like I said, do not ever discount. I mean, a lot of people want to poo-poo Steve Scallon because he backed away. And listen, the guy's running. I'm telling you. I mean, he's on Main Street on this one, and I'm telling you, if it wasn't for him, Karen be in jail right now. She would have pled out. No one would have known. Nobody. That's how important that kid is. And I'm telling you, you find out who was important to Steve, you're going to find out who knows the true story. And they got, and Michael, they got backup. They got warm bodies and they got backup because that's how they work.
Do you think the defense has that?
Oh, hell yes. Yes. Their team FBI. Of course they are. I gave the story several times, when we had to cross over and talk to a defendant, right? A potential defendant, right? Well, in this case, Karen's a defendant in a state case. She's a victim in a federal case. And the reason she's a defendant in the state case, because she was framed. This was an easy play by the feds. Seriously, an easy play by the feds to approach her and trust in her and say, we're going to save your life. Just do what we ask. And like I said, that's how it goes.
It's amazing. Thinking there's a few different questions that are coming up, but I definitely want to talk.
You can talk all you want there, Mike. I love talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, you do?
Oh, hell yeah, I do.
Because you brought up the politician angle.
Sure.
I'm wondering, because I've heard Marty Walsh's name thrown about, and I know there's also the Donnie Wahlberg connection. Marty Walsh grew up in Dorchester. Yeah. Donnie Wahlberg did.
See,
they seem to be friends.
Here's the thing.
Is that where
But Brian's he's not a Doc kid. He's a Canton kid. He's a Canton kid. And there's something else. I mean, let's face it. You know how inner city guys are. I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of Irish guys in Dorchester. I'm telling you, cops are no different from anyone else. All right. If they don't trust you, it's over with. All right. And you got to think about all the beatings this guy has given out, and not one thing has ever. He kicked. I'm not going to. I guess I got in trouble saying the guy's name. He kicked the sergeant's teeth out after a Marine Corps ball party or something in November, right? Several years back. And that was the closest he got to losing his job, because this guy had juice. He said, you son of a, I guess he kicked his whole front, top of his, this is pretty bad, shod foot. He could have been charged with assault with a deadly weapon, shod foot. That was the guy. He said, I'm going. You don't give me the money for my teeth, you're done. You're going to lose your job and go to jail. He was very afraid that time. When he hit the firemen, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he did go away to Vermont on that incident. They buried that. They buried it. But I believe when he hit that fireman over the head with the bottle, my person, and they know who she is. She was there. She saw the whole thing. And they know it. And she says it was so bad they thought the kid was dead before he hit the ground. You know what Brian did? Just walked out the front door of J.J. Foley's into an awaiting car. How does that happen? But I understand on that particular one, they had to put him for getting some kind of help. And I believe their little dry out place is in Vermont. So, I mean, Michael, I'm telling you, like my buddy from my best man, he's a DEA agent, he retired. He says, Sean, I got to tell you right now, if you had the sources you have today, when you were an agent, you'd be knocking people dead. It's just amazing how when people trust in you, right?
Yeah.
And they do, I can't get to all the information I'm getting on even today as we're speaking. More information comes in. It was crazy during the summer. I didn't know what to do. It was so much information. So,
and to have the time, thank God you have the time to do this.
oh yeah,
That's my issue. Everyone wants to hit me up, and I'm just like,
right,
I can't fit any more into the day.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, I never want to. When this whole thing happened, my buddy Billy Brahaney told me about this story. I said I didn't want to believe it. I did not want to believe that the town that I went to high school in and my parents lived for 55 years, that the cops in that town could have ever been this corrupt and dirty to cover up a murder of a Boston cop. I did not want to believe it. And the more I read and the more people talked to me, it could not be denied. And I had to come to the realization. And that's why I finally said, nah, I'm not going to be anonymous anymore. I was hanging out anonymous and one of the mods grabbed me and said, you're friggin' law enforcement. I know you are. And I know who you are. I said, oh shit. So I said, that's it. I'm going to write my letter. I'm going to come completely out, put my name on it. And from then, who the hell would ever think I would have a stupid YouTube thing, a YouTube show, stream, whatever the hell you call it.
How old are you? How old are you right now?
I'm 66. I'll be 67
with a new YouTube show. That's amazing.
20,000 people coming on. Come on.
Amazing.
Who does it? Who does that?
We do. We're old. I'm not as old as you, but
oh my God,
we're both old for this game.
Yeah. But it's for the cause. It's for getting justice. It's for getting justice for John O'Keefe. And of course,
John and Karen.
For Karen. Yep, I'm telling you, she got the rawest deal, and I just hope pray to God. Now, I was listening to Aiden the other night. What world would we live in if this goes to the jury and she's found guilty? My thing is this. I hope in the world that we live in right now, it never gets to their side. But Bev is going to allow this to go to the defense side. I just hope that the defense gets their case in. I guess, what did Jackson say? I just need 4 days? 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
You know what that means to me? That means he's coming in with the fucking Moab, the mother of all bombs.
You only need 4 or 5 days of that, and it's over.
He's going to blow it up. That's what that means to me.
Yeah.
And then
to it, done. It's like when George W. Bush or whatever, I think it was George Herbert, when they went to Iraq War, they just bombed them for like a month. And then that was it. Like they didn't need to do anything else.
The Gulf War. It was the quickest in and out. Yeah.
Yeah. Boom, boom,
but
boom.
If he said he's only going to have 4 days, then that's a signal. He's coming in with the Moab. He's going to drop it, and no one's going to recover.
We got this comment a lot tonight. I know it probably goes back to the Yellow Cottage Tale stuff way back.
Yeah.
But it's been persistent. They're asking, Sean, can you speak to the rumor about the cops selling steroids to the football team?
All right. So I'm going to just I want to address this one more time. All right. It wasn't okay. So there were steroids. All right. I don't believe the cops were selling steroids, but there was steroid use going on with some of the military cops that were on McCann, to include Gooley and a few others. Okay. Brian Albert was big into it. All right. But getting back to Gooley. All right. Gooley was a type of kid, right? I say kid. All right. He could have been a good cop. He really could have, right? He for whatever reason, he got on the oxys. So, DEA has this bring back your drug stuff day or something like that. Well, I guess he was in charge. Now think about this. It is like giving an alcoholic. Just like giving an alcoholic.
Are you kidding me?
Right.
They gave the guy that had a drug problem, the drugs.
Of course, what's happening is it's all these people bringing in oxys and all kinds of codeine and what do you call all those Percocets, all that shit. He's going. This is like Christmas Day. It's like he's getting everything. And it wasn't the fact that I heard from people. It wasn't the fact that he was selling per se. He would give out in consignment, but you had to give him back the pills too. When you were up, he expected you to give pills back. All right. Wow. So it was definitely distribution, but he got caught. I mean, he got caught in the throes of addiction. It caught him just like like everyone else got caught back there with the pill mills in Florida. You saw the people lining up to getting these bad doctors. This guy had access to everything, right? And if he didn't, he'd drive down to Florida. He'd drive down to, over to Rhode Island on midnights right before he got off the 311 shift and make a pickup over there. Come back. One time he got in an accident and they covered this accident with one of the undercover trucks they have. So much shit. But it's a tragedy. So to Gator Gal 65, I don't think they would ever sell steroids to the football team. I think steroids were provided. Okay. Kids are always talking about Colin Albert being juiced up on steroids, even as a kid playing ball. I mean, come on. Guys told me they worked out. Cops worked out with Brian and his nephew, Colin, at the gym, and they were using steroids. Okay. Now, listen, I was never into steroids, but I know they're illegal. Yep. But then again, I don't know. I'm not judging them, but I know they weren't selling steroids. Somehow they were getting them. However, with Gooley, it wasn't per se a sale. It was distribution and a redistribution, however that goes. But the guy was like Santa Claus. He had the whole shebang.
Yeah. And then anytime you go to a gym, there's always steroids. Like I'm not a guy that never did the steroids. I never did the juice, but I used to wrestle against people who did the steroids.
Right.
Right. In the Bridgewater football team, I know for a fact there are a lot of kids juicing for that football team. Yeah. Division III, which is crazy, but
and you could
would. It was more about attitude. You know, they just want to be the big man.
And you can tell a guy's size when it's natural or not natural. And there, of course, let's face it, the rage. The roid rages, you know.
It's the what do you call that? The emotional roller coaster of it. It makes you moody. Steroids make you moody. Right. That's what it is. It changes your moods.
Right. But like I said, this thing with John, it wouldn't take much. If John had a little, argument with Karen coming from the waterfall to 34 Fairview, if he got out of the car, he was a little pissy going in. That's all it would take for Brian. He drinks and he smells blood. He doesn't need a reason at all. Not one reason at all. And I believe that a lot of this had to do with booze and testosterone and attitude and whatever. I do not believe in the theory that it was a setup. I just believe it was a hostile environment because of who they are.
Makes sense. I mean, that makes the most sense. Booze and ego. That's what I've been saying too. It's booze and ego. That's all you need. It's all you need. Put those two things together.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I just saw something from Kevin Ferris about the basement, right? Now, listen, I didn't know this. I just thought you could take the doors off those bulkheads, but I was informed. You have to literally take the whole cement thing out of the area where the bulkhead's at. And if those people, right, obviously, according to Brian, he knew his house. He says, no, that's new. Well, guess what? Someone took the whole thing out. And that leads me to believe if they had to do that much work to take the doors off by removing the cement frames that goes around, so the whole door and frame, cement frames had to be taken up. That means that someone found some DNA of John's blood on those door handles. So expect that. Listen, if John's DNA is found in that house, we know he was never there before. We know that. It's over with. You can't have John's DNA in the house. That means he was in the house and his blood was there. It's over. That's why it's probably taken 4 days. We know, well, obviously, the defense took that video. And there's other parts of that video we have not seen. There's other parts that we're going to see. So wait for us. That's right, Sheila. Wait for us. I love being me today. I could actually read these comments. I don't have to, think about.
I think we might have a troll here. I don't know. Maybe they're being sarcastic, but they said 7 drinks in 1 hour and 40 minutes. I heard that brought up a lot, but I've never seen any proof in court. Why didn't they ever get to that? Why?
Well,
So far, all they proved is Karen had one drink, and everyone that saw her said she
I
wasn't
thought he was
drunk.
talking about Brian Higgins. I
Oh,
thought
maybe Higgins.
the
Maybe.
two-turn Karen. I thought he was talking about Brian Higgins because Brian, listen, let me tell you right now. It appears that I've been at the Hillside. I'll tell you right now, their food is absolutely incredible. I was there last June. Absolutely. I went there noon and night for dinner and lunch, right? Great. And I got to see a lot of people there that I'm seeing now in court and around town and everything else, right? So I guarantee that Brian was getting doubles, right? I think they have nice pours at the Hilly, right?
Yeah.
And if you're a regular, and especially if you're, a bullshit artist like fucking Albert and no game Higgins, right? I'm sure those 4 to 5 were more like, 8 to 10 in reality. Because a lot of people say, why do you think Brian is such a docile guy? Because he was docile at the waterfall when Brian Albert was giving him a little butt rubs and doing the old doggy style on the guy. What guy who's not docile allows another guy to do doggy style on you? I mean, who the hell does that shit?
Doink.
I'm serious.
Yeah, I would have whacked him.
Oh my God, Elbow City. But it looks like he's submissive to Brian. I don't know. Maybe there's a story there. Who knows? Grab assing. That's right, Fairy Raven.
Yeah, that person that was talking about the 7 drinks said no, it's coming. They still think that there's new evidence we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, really? Yeah.
Yeah. That's why every person that saw Karen said she wasn't drunk.
And this is the thing. I said it the other night, right? When I finally went to Google, when I finally went to Twitter, I wasn't a really big Twitter guy, right? But I got hammered by the Braden Connies and the Alex Ariases and all these happy horseshits. And they said, this, Sean, we got this, and that. Well, guess what? They got nothing.
Yeah.
None of what they said they had, they came out with. And there's no Pequot Farm. There's no, she went back.
It's like they said they had a video the first day of Karen hitting him. Where's that video of Karen hitting him?
Because they bought the story hook, line, and sinker, just like Kevin did. He bought it. He bought it hook, line, and sinker. And he's too proud to change his tune.
Oh, he's way in too deep. I think it's about Chris Albert too. He likes Chris Albert for some reason. That's what I think. A lot of it has to do with his buddy. You know why? Think about it. Kevin hates Turtle Boy. So Chris probably just calls him up to bitch about Turtle Boy. So they have this. They probably talk every day about how bad Turtle Boy is.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Kevin talks about how he's against bullies, right? So it leads me to believe that Kevin, listen, we all been bullied before, but it looks like Kevin was highly bullied as a kid. And he's now the protector against bullies, right? Well, he got bullied by Turtle and the Riders. I happened to be in the seat that night and I saw it live and in color, right? And he changed completely from that night. And he's gone way overboard, and he can't come back because of his ego. This is all ego driven right now. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. I mean, if he cared, he would understand. Logically speaking, a hair can't be on that car for 17 hours in a blizzard. It can't.
Yeah, and he would care that someone's life is on the line here. Karen Reed, if she's innocent, that's what kills me. Is he comes at us and says how awful we are, but he never considers that Karen could be innocent and that he's actually the awful one.
Right. So getting back to a little bit of the trial. So the greatest thing, right, that we can look forward to is the fact that when the FBI agents get on the stand to actually document the fact that they have proven that Jen McCabe made that 227 search, right? And Michael, the FBI is like they're tied at the hip with Celebrite. I don't care who Ian Whiffen is. Jackson will take care of him, no doubt about it. But and then of course, when they paid for experts, right? Experts to do the reconstruction analysis of John's car and Karen, right? I mean, Karen's car and John. That's going to be it. That is going to be everything right there. That's going to be it. And, and then, of course, when they finally show how the taillight was, in fact, planted, we know this because, okay, so listen. So I told you my two sources, right? I told all these people, two sources told me emphatically that they told me that the state police did, in fact, put the taillight back together. So Aiden did show the famous picture yesterday or today, I'm not when it was. So that gave instant credibility to my sources. But the greatest thing is this. Not only did they put the taillight back together, right? There's an evidence sticker, right, on that taillight that they put back together that is part of the picture I have with the red circle. All right. The famous picture I showed you on with the red circle. And I said back in August, people, if any part inside that red circle ends up in evidence, it was a frame job because it's on the car at 5:08 in the morning. And it absolutely, they said, Sean, emphatically, those pieces from that red circle is in evidence with the state police. And we now know because it's on that model that they put back together. It's there. How in the name of God are they going to get by this? Michael, this is,
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
Mark's got to say the same thing. And Mark was down in the big city, man. I mean, he's seen it all.
Oh, yeah.
He knows how bad this is. He knows. Yeah. He's being very reserved and he's still very pointed. I'm telling you, he knows how bad this is.
No, he does.
For the prosecution.
He certainly does.
Yeah.
We got a few questions for you. Here's one.
Sure.
They want to know if they can have your email.
Sure. I'll give it to you. S.A. like Sean Aiden, but it's spelled the Gaelic way. S.A. McDonough 8 at gmail.com.
S.A. McDonough 8 at gmail.com.
Yeah, that's it.
You got it. You got your wish there, Kim.
There it is.
Kim's over in Australia. She wants
Hey,
to,
Kim.
I don't know what kind of tips she's gonna have in Australia for Sean.
Hey,
but
you'd be surprised.
I know, right?
You'd be surprised. Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. Funny things happen.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I had a great buddy in Peru from the Australian Federal Police. Man, I'll tell you, these Aussies, they are.
Oh, I love them.
They are the best.
They are
to be with. Oh my God!
I used to have an Australian girlfriend, Sean. I almost moved there, Melbourne.
Oh my God!
I'm still friends with her on Facebook, Caitlin. She's great.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I was like,
that's it, Rebecca.
I must have been in my early 20s. Like, I was beautiful girl, beautiful Australian.
Yeah, I bet she was blonde.
She was.
There you go.
She still is.
Yeah, nice.
She's beautiful. She's still a beautiful lady. She's smart too. Dag Nabbit says, wouldn't defense have to present DNA evidence in the prosecution in discovery if they have John's DNA inside the house?
Dag Nabbit, I am very, very sure that the DNA evidence that they have is well documented in the 3,074 pages of the TUI. There's no secrets. I'm telling you. They know it. Judge Bev knows it. And, it's there. I'm telling you, it's there. It is there. That's why, what's his name? The U.S. attorney said, in good conscience, I can't let this. He was giving Lally, I'm not Lally, he was giving Morrissey
a way out,
a winky wink. Come on, man. Don't do this to yourself. Right? He also gave it to the judge. The judge could have done it. But she said, I'm a political figure. I am not going to shut down a murder of a Boston cop. I'll never survive. She probably said, Mike, you do it, you loud ass. You brought this shit to my courtroom.
Exactly. That's exactly what she did. She dared him. And then she said, you're not going to delay this. You're going to court now.
That's what I'm saying. She really, I'm telling you, she tied their hands. She says, no, we're going. I'm not giving you one break. That to me was a signal.
And now you could tell she's irritated with Lally.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's awful. Yeah.
Well, you think they're going to put Proctor in the stand?
Here's my thing. I don't see, and this is special. You've seen how many times now the defense has brought up Proctor's name. Who signed this? Who collected this? And they have said Proctor enough.
Like the
If he
mystery,
doesn't show up, trust me, he'll Tully, if he shows up, will be asked. Yuri will definitely be asked. Fanning, all of them. Were you the lead detective? No. Who was the lead detective? Proctor. Where's he at? They're going to go, what are they going to say?
Yeah.
It's listen, I hate the fact that we did go to trial, but deep down inside me, I'm happy. I feel bad for Karen that they're draining every penny she has. But the good thing is she's going to make it all back. She's going to make it in 10,000 fold.
I hope she gets her job back. And
yeah. Listen, I mean, if she wants it,
I know, right?
I hope she does every movie, book, TV
goes
deal.
on Oprah.
Give it all.
I don't even know if Oprah's around, but some stuff like that. I hope she does it
something
all.
like that, right? Yeah.
Maybe you've been collecting money too. I like this for the Innocence Project.
That's right. That's right. I said,
maybe she'll get into that. I hope. Tell people about that too.
I said they're hitting me every. Kevin saying, "Hey, he's getting the grift. He's taking money," and I never. This thing with the shirts, I don't know where the hell the shirts came from. They did Seanisms. They started putting Seanisms together. Listen. And kisses and drinks and all this other happy horse shit, El Jefe. And I was getting these shirts, I was wearing them. I don't know where the hell they came from. And then Kate goes, "No, that's bullshit, Sean. You're getting money." I said, "Frig it. All right, you think I'm getting money?" So I put a thing up. I was faking everyone. I would go to Bay Bank. I don't have an account there. Let me try this donor. Oh, this is from Boston Bank. No, I don't have that. And then people are laughing at this shit. Those banks have been gone for years, right?
Yeah, Bay Bank.
So I researched
like 25 years ago.
Yeah, right. Bank of Boston. I said Bank of Boston. And so I talked to my team. I said, "Listen, let's pick someone else." So it was between two, and we decided on the Innocent Project of America and Barry Scheck, the guy that did the DNA for O.J. Simpson. He's a part of another guy. So I put my Cash App. I got a Cash App. And it was funny as shit the other night. A big storm was coming in. And for some reason, I kept my phone not on silent. And I have this ding, ding. I thought there was something on the roof, that the lightning, because we just got the new roof. Yeah. I thought the nails were coming out. And it was this Cash App going crazy. So, So that's what I did. And
I got to turn mine off during the show. I love it. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
Ding, ding. I was
like, it's like a cash register.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you, the people have been great. I said, give me $1, $2. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm doing this because I always live by the thing right now to give back to others, give service to others. We talked about this, Mike, right? And I said, if me going behind this stupid microphone can help like Carrie Burke, right? If I can bring something to Carrie Burke's life, or Mac Dickles, or Jonathan Como.
I love him.
If one person gets reached in this whole thing, and it can help get justice for John O'Keefe and Karen Reed, then that's my whole thing. Now, convincing my wife is another story, but she's good with this.
How is she? Because I deal with the same thing. Believe me.
She said, "Wait a minute, Sean. Let me get this straight. You're doing the play-by-play 8:00 till end of trial every day." I said, "Yes." "And you're going on at 6:00. I said, "Well, I have to take care of my people. My people, they need me." She says, "You're so full of shit, Sean. You're so crazy." I said, but I have to, now that I'm in it, I can't back off. So no, she's good. She's actually good. Really,
you need somebody like that. I think I do too. 'Cause I have the same thing. My girl is, she's gonna make sure it's the right thing and the right. Yeah, I mean, and there's a big commitment that we do. I mean, look how many nights that we put into it.
Mike, like yourself, I mean, you have your full. Thank God. I mean, I got my little 3 pups, right, and that's it, right. And I have the time of the world. And I'm going to tell you, I never knew how exhausting doing this is, and especially you, Mike. You've been hitting it huge, big time. So. I do appreciate this whole thing. And the movement is incredible. You got Brian LTL. You got Aiden, obviously. I call him the OG. You can't listen. No matter what happened, sideways, he's riding the ship the whole 9 yards. It doesn't matter. He got this whole thing going, right? And you're in it. Brian LTL, the Galera, all the Melanie Little, and absolutely phenomenal. And unfortunately, they took major hits at her, threatened her kids. They gave out her address on Long Island. Pretty bad. It's really. There's Kelly. Kelly Reed is in the house. Look
Kelly
at
Reed's
this.
Watching. We love Kelly.
She's right there. I see her. Kelly, how the hell are you? Yeah, it's always good. I mean, this is where it's at. And Kyle V. I love Kyle V. Kyle V. I see you speaking Spanish all the time, Kyle. And I'm not that guy, by the way. I used to be, but not now, buddy.
I like Kyle. Kyle's a good dude.
Kyle V. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Mike. It's in the giving you receive. And guess what? I'm receiving everything. I'm loving it. I really Baker. What's the guy's name? Baker Tom? Baker something?
Broken Baker.
Broken Baker.
He's great.
And Dylan. How about Dylan?
Dylan's
the
great.
legend from Wales.
What
I mean,
nice
Dylan.
Guy.
Think about Dylan, right? He's over there in Wales covering U.S. trade. He knows about the court system more than I do. He's amazing. You got all these people.
What time's he up? Because when you guys are up at 8 a.m., what time is it there for him?
He's already at lunch, and he's in the afternoon tea time by then.
In the afternoon, wow.
He's having tea. And look at Blessed Mom.
Does he do tea and crumpets?
I think he does. I think isn't that a ritual? It's sacrilegious if you don't, right?
Oh yeah. Anytime I when I was a financial advisor, I have some English customers.
Right.
Always tea and crumpets.
Yeah. And here's another guy, Mazza Media.
Yeah, Mazza's great.
Let me ask you a question. What does he go by? Mazza? If I say, hey, Mazza, how you doing? Mazza?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I go, what's up, Mazza? I mean, he's used his real name is Mark, but I never call him Mark. It's Mazza. Right.
So
he's known as Mazza. He is Mazza.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, good. Oh, okay. Okay. So, but it just brought me back to something. So, all right. There's a guy he lives in Stoughton, but he's been servicing Canton area for more than 60 years, right? So I met him many, many times ago, right? And so we've developed a good friendship. He's a great guy. So he developed these $100 fake bills and the little duckies, the little yellow duckies, rubber duckies, and they said, Colin did it, right? Do you know that the Canton Police Department, joining with the Stoughton Police Department, did 2 search warrants on this guy?
Oh my
2
God.
search warrants. And they wouldn't do a search warrant at John's house. Well, anyways, he's having breakfast today. And he's got one of the shirts on. The shirt that I want. It says, member of an elite squad, right? Anyways, he's sitting down. Next thing, he gets this little napkin with a note. And it says, I just paid for your breakfast because of the shirt you're wearing. I am 1,000,000% sure Karen Reed is innocent and 100% sure she was framed. And something like, I'm a Boston PD retired lady. My son's a state trooper. This was treasure. I believe Sean McDonough and everyone he's doing, and Brian Albert is definitely going to jail with everyone else. And I said, that made my day. That's what you get in return for doing the right thing.
Absolutely. Now, this person that's getting had 2 search warrants, are they being charged?
I guess they didn't find the evidence. I don't know. But
so I mean, these weren't handed out as money laundering. They didn't turn any cash in.
Trash.
The store.
It was trash.
Yeah,
it was
just trying to promote the cause.
But this is what I guess Chris Albert. He picks up the phone. He calls Helena. He gets the detective bureau to write a search warrant to search this guy's car. They found nothing 2 times. Think about that. There's a Ford Edge driving around in that area that's responsible for helping a murder.
Yeah.
And they're doing 2 search warrants on this poor guy's business, whatever.
And they couldn't ask to go into Brian Albert's house. That was too much. Because he would have said no.
Right.
They couldn't ask. They're mind readers. They just know he would have said no.
Yeah.
And they didn't ask for a search warrant for his house, but
no.
For some frivolous BS.
Yeah, but I guarantee when he does eventually get charged in federal court, his attorney will suppress the famous cocktail glass that our friend King Mofo found, Paul Gallagher. And the reason we're going to suppress it, because Gallagher on the stand said, I had no probable cause for a search warrant. Well, guess what, bozo? And he feel bad about this. He's a lieutenant. He spent 13 years as a DEA task force agent. He was on loan from the Canton PD. He says, I had no probable cause to search. Well, guess what, knucklehead? Not only is the house, right, the property is also a part of what you would need probable cause for. You actually dug down with a leaf blower to find evidence. This was not in plain sight. There's exigent circumstance, plain sight, whatever, right? That was an illegal search for the guy that went on the stand and said there was no probable cause. Yet he's searching. Yeah. Now, how stupid can a lieutenant on that force be?
And then to top it off, where they find the glass.
Yeah. To think that those
like
EMTs,
the first thing I would think of, if I found a glass like that outside of someone's house on their front lawn, I wouldn't think it came from the bar. Like
he didn't
miles
know that.
away.
He never.
I would think it came from the house.
Right. Well, first of all,
so that would give me more evidence to want to go in.
Michael, no one knew that but the killers.
Exactly.
Paul Gallagher didn't know that until 5 days later when they searched.
So why wouldn't he assume it came from the house?
Because
if you knew that they were having a party that night too, especially knowing that they had a party, they had an after-hours party. Gee, I wonder where the glass actually came from.
Because the fix was in.
That's all they knew. The cops knew there was a party at the house.
Yeah.
There's a dead cop who was supposed to be at the party with glass. Gee, I wonder if the glass came from the house.
Right.
That's what they would have. They didn't know about the bar. You're right.
No coat on. One shoe missing. Looked like he was beat up by Brian Albert. Right? I mean, that's Brian Albert's calling card.
This is why we don't trust the Canton police.
Right. Remember
why they want to replace the police chief. And then it'd be one thing if they said, you know what, we made a big mistake here. We screwed up because we fell for this. We believe Ryan Albert. We knew him. But no, they're still covering it up. They're still there's no come to Jesus moment for them.
No, it's
I made
horrible.
a mistake. Yeah.
It's horrible. I believe full-heartedly between the hours of 1 o'clock and 6 o'clock, all the calls were in place and they were told, back off that residence. And guess what? They did. Yeah. They didn't want nothing to do with Albert or 34 Fairview. Just talk about kisses and drinks. And that's all we want to talk about.
And then Proctor to turn around and say he wishes that Karen would do herself in. That I told my girlfriend about that. Like, my girlfriend was kind of on the fence about the stuff because she didn't know enough. She started listening to the trial and just totally, went like I expected her to. But one of the big things is when she heard that Proctor said that, she was like, "Are you kidding me?" Because that just shows you, like, that's mafia talk. That's what a mob boss says when someone's going to rat on them and send them to prison. That's exactly what a mob boss says. Yeah. So it sounded like mafia talk, and she grew up around the mafia talk and the mafia people back in the day. So she knows what that's all about. You know what I mean? So like, it's so obvious to me from Proctor and the way the police, it's obvious. And then you look at the car
and the fact that he said, and I want to search for nudes of Karen.
Yeah.
How low can you get? How low can you get? This is a guy who's a state trooper. He's a detective in the very prestigious, let's face it, Norfolk County. He's right outside Boston, right? And he's a state trooper. He's married. He has kids. And that will haunt him, amongst other things.
It should.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a financial advisor, we have all this, information that we're not, supposed to share. I would never share about. I even had, with the dog walking, same thing. I've had famous customers, both when I was a financial advisor, as a dog walker. You'll never hear me say a word about it. Right. Like, I just, if someone like myself can stick to that, how the hell can you be a Mass State Police and not stick to protecting the info? Like, it's just so shady.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be a professional. This was not a professional. Nothing of what he did could be called professional whatsoever. It's awful. It really is.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's not like he was brand new either. You know what I mean?
No. I mean, listen, I'm telling you, the word on him, and I've talked to some state troopers, one in particular, won't be mentioned. Very good accolades. Was a good kid in the academy. He was a straight out. That's what I'm saying.
He threw it all away.
He threw it all away. He gave up his career and his freedom. He's going down on this. He is. I'm telling you, he cannot miss it. But it really is. It's a travesty. It truly is. And I have no words right now. All I know is this: if Alan Jackson's saying I only need 4 days, I'm saying triple buckle up.
Yeah.
Get the jump straps, because you're gonna have to be locked in.
The Action Jackson.
Oh man, I'll tell you.
As a comment came in, it says it wasn't until months later that Turtle Boy brought up Chloe. So who told forensic lady it might have been a dog bite?
Well, okay, I'm trying. Who's forensic lady?
Yeah,
right. Well, I mean, listen, just remember, AK Robbie, right?
Yep.
It was 18 months almost before Turtle Boy ever brought the story to fruition. Everybody was on this thing from very early on in. The FBI, unbeknownst to a lot of people, were making inquiries from the end of February, early March, right? They knew, listen, they knew once the discovery was being made what was happening. They knew about the dog attack. So, I mean, a lot of this was already known to the feds and to the defense. All right. How did TB get his information? From from Karen to the German and to him. So it was known. Okay. So I don't know who's the dog lady, the evidence technician there, the scientist, the evidence scientist. I didn't understand the question. But
I'm not sure either.
People keep forgetting. The feds were done with their investigation, right? Before Turtle Boy gave his first blog, because at that time they were handing out grand jury subpoenas to the witnesses in this case. And that was a slap in the face. That was a message. That was a shot across the bow. We're going to hammer your witnesses in a federal grand jury. They were done. They had all the ducks in a row. They just needed these idiots to go in and lock them in their statements. And now they're really locked in. They got a state grand jury. Some of them have 2 grand juries in the feds, and now they got their testimony in a criminal trial. They are completely locked in. Good luck with that one.
Good luck.
Right, Michael?
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yep.
Yeah.
The story is set. Well, you can't change it now. Said, did you see my earlier Twitter post on CERT capabilities? Miss Shorty's asking. I'm not sure I did. Did you?
I don't believe I did there, Miss Shorty. But I know what they are. I know they're for crowd control, going out in the mountains, going out in the fields and doing searches for dead bodies or missing people, all that stuff, right? But they're not the actual crime scene investigation unit. Ironically, who was at the station the day that the lab scientist was there. She said there was a CSI guy there. Why the hell was he out there doing the job? Right. And here's the other thing, Michael. Why did it take him to February 1st to process anything? John, he would have a dead boss. He had another example where they could give 2 shits about John O'Keefe. They didn't do it the 29th. They didn't do the 30th, not the 31st, but February 1st. Oh, by the way, how about Lally? The whole direct examination of that woman was done for the February 2nd. How bad can that be? It just shows his level of commitment. His head's not in the game, Michael. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I said it on Turtle Boy's show. In June of last year, I said, I'm looking and listening to this guy, Lally. He doesn't believe a word he's saying. And even more so today, he believes less than what he's saying.
Sure feels like it.
Yeah. Yeah, look at you, man. How many people you got now, Michael?
Let's take a look. 4,200
on
YouTube.
That's amazing. And I'm looking at all these names, and these names are new to me because I
Different,
don't
yeah.
see them. Yeah, that's
You know what,
beautiful.
Sean? A lot of them are new to me too. It's so
No, it's
funny,
great.
like,
It's awesome.
our audiences, both of us, have grown so
Yeah,
much over the last
yeah,
month. It's like a lot of them are new to
yeah.
both of us, so
Right. That is awesome. It really is. And you deserve it. You do the work. You're on the right side of history. You didn't succumb to those idiots. And you got Kevin calling you jelly. Come on. Is that
jelly,
the worst?
because
Is
he's
that the
jealous of
worst?
us.
Is
You know
that
what?
the worst?
The
Is
bottom
that
line
the
is
worst?
Kevin's jealous because he's still gonna be stuck with his 4,000 followers for the rest of his life, and
Oh, if that,
yeah,
if that, if
yeah, if
that,
that.
if that. He's begging, just please come over and
Yeah.
from Twitter hit the YouTube thing.
No
I
thanks.
need to get to 5,000.
Yeah, no
You know,
thanks.
yeah.
He's
So
got so much ego. I mean, it's just
y- you know,
he calls everyone a grifter, and the guy's been writing Hollywood screenplays. I mean,
but
come on,
in the
come on.
earlier days, I gotta say, Mike, the guy was a straight shooter. He really was. He was a straight shooter, and like I said, I still say today, it all goes back when the
It's a turtle
Riders
boy.
attacked him.
Yeah, he
It's
couldn't handle
unfortunate.
it.
He could have listen. There's no secret about me and Turtle, and I
Yeah,
had a big fucking blow up on my own
exactly.
thing, and I apologize. I had him on my show.
Yep,
We
yep,
squared. That's what men do.
exactly.
You square it out.
I
I mean,
apologize to him too.
right? I
You
mean,
know what? He came after me a little bit. His
right,
people got mad at me. People got
right,
really mad at me, some of them,
yeah,
but most of them didn't. I gotta admit, like, most of them
right,
were like your grandparents. They were like,
right.
"Mike, we're just disappointed in you." They were
Hey,
like, "We still love you. We still
right,
like you. We're
right,
kinda like, we don't wanna watch you anymore."
right.
Like,
Yeah,
that was it. It wasn't
but
like
this is what you do, though. You do it because listen. There were things happening, right? But some I learned the more you carry baggage around, it only hurts you.
exactly.
So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna get this off my chest. I want to clear the air. Now it doesn't mean that he and I are gonna go double dating,
Yeah.
right? But at least I can say, hey man, you're still the OG. He still is. I don't
That's
give
the
a shit
thing
what
with
anyone
Turtle
says.
too. You can disagree with him.
Yeah.
Like, that's what
Right.
I don't get. Like, I don't know. And
Yeah.
as a person, I like him. Like, because
I'm gonna tell you right now.
when he was at his lowest point, when all the stress was most at him, I let him down, and
Right.
he got over it real quick.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's face it.
as a person to person, like,
Right.
it didn't take it. Yeah. So
Right. Listen, the kid did 60 days in jail. All right.
exactly.
All right. And the other thing is this: I don't give a shit. I don't care where he did it at. He still did it. Right.
Yeah. To
I
be
don't
away
give a
from your
shit.
family, that
Yeah.
sucks. That's
Right.
too much. And then
Right.
now it's even worse because he's worried how many
Right.
years he might do. I mean, this
Right.
is really.
And then I'm telling you right now, they are not off his case.
I know.
As far as
They want him more than
Tully,
they want Karen Reed.
he's public enemy number one for Tully. This
Yeah.
is something that you just got to watch out for. Yeah.
So Brenda S said, "Do you think anyone else will be charged with anything?"
Well, I mean,
He threatened me.
I mean, like in this kind of genre. Well, Kate said, I told Susanna, I got to find out what Kevin's saying about me because I want to see because I know the big taillight thing. And sure enough, Kate goes, oh my God, Sean McDonough. And my wife, he is going to get slapped with the biggest lawsuit. And my wife goes, Sean, you son of a, I said, Susie, you got all the money. I don't have shit. But, listen, here's my thing, Michael. You man up.
Threatened me with jail and lawsuits since December. I don't give a fuck.
You go with your convictions. You go with your instincts. You go with your training.
We didn't lie. When you look up liability lawsuits like libel, you have to actually lie and know that you're lying.
Right.
Both of us believe we're truthful, in what we're presenting. So I don't.
Unlike Kevin, who can fly either way.
Yeah.
He's saying, well, I did have exception with this hair. So, he's not even true to himself. Take a stance, Kevin. Take a stance. So, anyways, it is what it is. Yeah, my wife didn't like that.
I bet. We should put our I was gonna say we should put our women in touch with each other, but that'd probably be for us actually. Then it'd be no, we'd be down to one show a week.
Oh, I know.
They'd work it out.
They'd be taking notes. No, you can't let them do this. Don't let them do that. Yeah, That's the other thing.
Now
Don't
we're
ever,
giving all the trolls like
don't,
info on how to really get
right,
to us, get to our woman.
yeah. I,
Miss Shorty says I tagged you both, by the way, in the Twitter post. Thank you so much.
okay, good. Miss Shorty,
Sometimes I don't see
I
that.
will check it out.
No,
I will check
It's
it out.
it's weird now. I never realized until like this year that when people tag you, especially when you get more popular, you don't see it. You still don't see
You
it.
know,
Like
that's the thing. People say
it's
I
hard to
tagged
keep
you.
up with this shit now.
I don't know how to. I still don't know how to. I just go to the people. If I want to see like Olivia, I
Yeah,
want
you
to
look
see
at
you. I want to see. I don't still. I
you don't
still don't know
scroll.
how this thing works. I
Yeah.
don't. You know, I do know though the power of the blocking and blocking people has really amazing. It's amazing. You don't see any of that bullshit
Oh,
anymore.
I block them all. I
Yeah,
block every single one of them.
yeah, yeah.
The day that Kate Peters threatened me with Brian Tully, that I needed to talk to Brian Tully, block.
Yeah.
Block.
I mean, that's crazy. That's
Never heard
crazy.
from her again.
Yeah, and the fact that she has access like that,
Yeah.
you
The
know,
snitch.
that's kind of sus. You know,
It's
I
wicked
want to.
shady. So
Yeah,
she can go up and threaten somebody like me online.
yeah. Miss Shorty, you know, like I said, there's the
That's
thing
yeah.
about a CSI. When I was doing crime scene investigations, it was very methodical. You had one guy who was a scribe. He took everyone's name down. You entered that thing, that crime scene, your name's in, time out. Anybody around the scene was identified, right? If you didn't work there, you didn't belong there. That's one. So they should have been identified. But that was a gift. That kid gave us a gift. And I guarantee right now, I would not be surprised if it's Berkey because of his ego, Kevin Albert because he was always been around. All right. And I think Higgins. I think that's who it
Wow.
was. You know,
Imagine.
it wouldn't
Imagine.
listen,
Yeah.
we know the two of them were together at the critical time at the Sally Put when again, how does this happen? At critical times,
Yeah.
all the videos go down.
He's always there.
All the videos go down, right? But
Yeah.
you know, so it makes sense that he would be down there with Berkey, Higgins, and Kevin Albert. And I'll tell you right now, I did get a tip, and I passed it on to Alan Jackson that Kevin Albert left that house that night on the 29th around 2:00 in the morning. And guess what? I know for sure this was an all hands event for every Albert. Had to be. So we'll see how it plays out. This story is far from being over. It's not in the books by any stretch of the imagination.
It's going to go on for a while, even after the trial. This is a question. I think we have most of this figured out. One question I have: John's phone. I don't trust Kerry's story. The movement doesn't match.
You know, that's true. But if you think about it, you know, let's say she did find John's phone and then she pocketed it. You do see her walking around a lot, right? Kerry's back and forth. She's going in the car. She's attending Karen. Excuse me. So I don't know. That whole story will get flushed out. But, you know, who'd she give it to then? I guess Lank. It would have to be Lank, right? Somebody.
Or Jennifer McCabe.
That's
who
true.
gave it a line. Yeah.
You know, wasn't that an eerie feeling when you see Jen McCabe crossing over the driveway and going into the house? Even though we do know she went in the house, it's not, again, it's not what she did. It's the way she did it. She was a sneak.
Yeah.
Right. She went in front of those cars and like using it as cover. And then she got far enough down and then crossed.
She cut over.
Yeah. It's just amazing. And of course, she burst in to Brian's room and no Chloe reacted. Now, where the hell Chloe had to have been taken out. I love the fact that the defense asked Caitlin, did you take Chloe out of the house? That was, you know, they would never ask that question if they didn't know the answer.
So that's what I thought. I'm like, they must know that Chloe, that was a bombshell for me. And it makes total sense.
And then the dumbbell, Tristan, right? Who comes from a great family. He comes from a great family. His grandfather was a judge in Dorchester, Boston. Very well respected. This kid is no dummy, right? And I believe his family told him, get off that police department. And you know, I don't know. He's making big bucks with a union job, right? But he was smart. He was not going to perjure himself for anything. He said all the right words. I don't remember. I don't recall. And it was all about the critical questions that he could not be held up on. And whoever advised him, Tristan got all the money worth because he listened to that attorney. So, but what a punk he is, though. He is truly.
I don't know if I dropped her off at 7 or 4 in the morning. Come on.
He almost admitted he would have admitted anything. He was such a fool.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know about times. Yeah. He says, listen closely. Could you think he dropped her off at 5 o'clock in the afternoon? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
The funniest thing, funniest thing I think about him is when he runs into Turtle Boy and he calls Turtle Boy a rat.
Oh, I know.
Again, mafia talk. Like what? Exactly. A rat is someone who snitches on illegal activity. So what illegal activity have you been doing, Tristan?
Right. I know. Really. I mean, here's a kid who grew up in Canton. Right.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Look at Jonathan. Jonathan's got a little whatever those things are called, super chat.
What's he doing, Jonathan Como?
Yeah, he laid out $10 there. Look at that. He's got some.
Oh wait,
how about Audrey? You gotta love Audrey here.
I know.
Look at
Audrey up here.
Audrey's she's a great admin in my group, and she's a mod with the YouTube people. We got great Wendy. We got Lana Del Turtle. I know you got some great mods. You got to have good mods. My mods are great. You got Sean.
Yeah.
You got all these people.
I mean, these mods are amazing. Like I got. Let me show you this one. This is Stephanie right here. She's one of our mods.
Oh,
she's buying memberships for people.
Look at this, Stephanie. I see Stephanie a lot. Stephanie, I see her going around. Yeah. Irish girl. I see Irish girl.
They support us, and then they're buying memberships too. Like that's just amazing. It's above and beyond. They're so giving.
And I try. Listen, sometimes I'm not. Look at Olivia. Olivia is in the house. Yep. And they really are. My first night, I didn't have any mods, and I guess I was getting crucified with poor Peter. Oh yes, think about this. And this is true. The video did jump 8 minutes while Gallagher was trying to point out where he was in the video. Talk about some shady shit, right?
All the videos jump. What's up with that? Right.
And my partner and I discovered those 2 clear pieces that were shown. I'm working on a post. Maybe he already did it. So that means those 2 clear pieces, right, are actually, we found out where they belong, okay? And they belong inside the inner portion of the taillight, which means, and this is crazy, that not only did John break through one, look at Leah. Leah, you haven't been around for a while. John not only broke through one layer of polycarbonate, he got through the second layer, which it's absolutely preposterous that, and Sean's here. I can tell you right now, I went to a Lexus dealer here in Naples, and I went to 2 high-end body shops, and they said, Sean, I'm going to tell you right now, Lexus, when you hit the Lexus taillight, it's built for the debris to go inside, okay? And he said, there's no way that model Lexus could hit a human and break any taillight. It doesn't. He says it's about the physics, Sean. It's about the physics. I said, I know. I just want to hear it from you. So again, it's common sense, Michael. We're not brain surgeons here. We don't need. I
love this comment right here from Crystal. She says, "I love you both, but hearing Sean call you Michael is very fatherly move." Love.
Oh, Michael, yeah. Sure.
This has been one of my favorite streams.
It's endearing, Crystal. Come on, Michael. I love Michael. Michael's a great guy.
Sean, it's funny too, because I gotta say, my best friend died like 10 years ago. His name was Michael.
Wow. Sorry about that.
And he was known as like the king. He was the king of pot, actually. He was the character.
Oh, nice.
But you kind of he was Italian. Yeah. You're Irish, but he was about 10 years older than me. You're a little bit older than that, but you kind of remind me of him. I got feel like
kids,
at the same time.
Michael, I got kids your age. I got kids your age.
Yeah, well, I'm more your kid, but like, on this whole thing, you kind of been my rock. When we don't talk a lot, but when I text you, like you give me girls. I just love it.
No,
And my real brother's name is Sean. So
wow. Wow,
Like
that's
Michael,
amazing.
Sean and Michael was growing up. That was it.
Yeah.
Everything was Sean and
Right.
Michael.
Well,
Sean,
my
Sean,
undercover
Michael.
name was Michael Sullivan.
Who's?
My undercover name was Michael
Oh,
Sullivan.
you were Michael Sullivan undercover. Do you know how many Mike Sullivans there are in Boston?
Oh my God, I know. It was a great name to have. They could never find me.
Yeah, Sully. Sully.
Sully. That's what I
How
went
many
by. Sully.
Sullys do we know?
Oh man, it's amazing.
I mean,
Sully's
we
cap.
can't even pick out which Mike Sullivan you're talking about if it's a lawyer or politician because there's
True.
so many of them
True.
in Boston.
True.
Like
It was a great cover name. I just said, call me Sully. But I did mess up one time, and I was telling a story about myself in the undercover role, and I fucking called myself Sean. And the guy says, "Who the fuck is Sean?" I go, that's some other guy. I met the other guy. I'm Sully. Oh, it was a lesson to be learned. So
you almost flew it once.
I blew it. Oh my God, I was shaking.
You needed to pick it up.
No. Yeah, Mike Sullivan. That's right.
Sully.
Joseph Klein.
I'm gonna start calling you Sully now.
Yeah. That's
his undercover nickname when Sully called.
So I brought my buddy who got me into this case, Billy Brahaney. He's a great guy. I was doing an undercover job up in Springfield, and he was doing a job himself in the food business. He said, "Sean, I'm up in Springfield. I'm going to have lunch with you." I said, "Okay." We went to the food court at the Bay Bank area there, right? And I never told him. I said, "Billy, listen, this guy is an Italian guy. He's going to meet." He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Just be you. Talk to me, but do me a favor. Just call me Sully. Call me Sully." He's all right. And the guy comes, "Hey, man, how you doing? How you doing? What's going on? We're going to do this. We're doing this." And Billy going, "Hey," he says, "Do you know Sully?" He goes, "Yeah, I know Sully." "Hey, how do you know Sully?" He says, "I've known Sully for 25 years. And it worked. At the end, Billy says, "You motherfucker, I will never, ever see you again." He walked out pissed. He was pissed at me. I said, "Billy, you did a great job."
You see, he sold it for you. You owe him.
Yeah,
you owe him twice.
I owe him.
Now he got you those carrots.
Yeah. And I said, it gave me instant credibility. I've known this guy for 25 years. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
You can't buy that street kind of.
"Hey, how you doing? How you doing?" It was Tony something. He said, "Hey, how you doing?"
Unbelievable.
It was funny shit, man. I love those days. It was great. And I had a, he says I had a ponytail. I had a mullet.
You had a mullet.
I had a mullet. Oh God. It was a Billy Ray Cyrus mullet with the square forehead. Oh God.
Was that in the 80s or 90s? When was
that? That was the late 80s.
Everyone had those.
The achy breaky heart.
I think I even had a mullet back then.
I was doing the achy breaky, line dance. Oh Jesus! In my boots. Oh God, that was all good stuff.
Awesome. Well, we're at 8:00. We've been going for 2 hours.
That's amazing. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah,
It's just like sitting down, having a conversation. We have great company here. This is a great platform. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Well, I love
hanging out with you're hanging out with 5,000 people. We're having a conversation. It's great.
Yeah, I love it. Do you have any final thoughts tonight that you want to share? Final thoughts.
I do believe that Lally missed the mark. I believe Mark said the same thing. He should have came out hard right out of the gate. Said that this is a murder 2 case. We're going to show you right now. And he missed the mark. He's 5 weeks in it. Now he's putting evidence on, and it's going worse for him now. Final thoughts is this. They will absolutely lose it if they don't put Proctor on, and if they do put Proctor on. It's a no-win situation for him. It's not going to look good because the defense has already said Proctor's name so many times. And I do believe the taillight will come in as the defining moment for that jury.
And you've been talking about the taillight from the very beginning.
It's talking about the fact that these guys said that they put that. I still said I couldn't believe it. Well, I have to believe it now because they have it. But they said it and I couldn't believe it. So anyways, and I did say about the 227 and the wiretaps. Those things I'm hanging my hat on. But that's going to be for the federal trial, though.
You've been right. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. Kevin can come at you.
I've been wrong about everything as far as Kevin goes. I've been wrong about it all.
He's the one who's been wrong. It's hilarious. The projection is so great from them.
Yeah, right. All right. So that's my thing, Michael. It's always a pleasure to be with you. John Camo is right. That video did move 8 minutes up, and of course they missed Berkey's big head. Berkey was in that video.
Yeah.
So there's a lot, Michael. There's a lot more to come out. There really is.
Now, something that just came out, they're asking about is the phone. There's some new phone records.
Yeah, I saw that.
Do you know anything about that?
I saw that today. It's a little late in the game, but you never know. It's probably maybe they're Berkey's.
Yeah, Berkey. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I will say one thing. It was Dave Yannetti said, and not only Chief Berkowitz called Michael Morrissey and said that the Canton Police Department, he said the Canton Police Department is recused out of this case. Okay. So was Mike Morrissey cooperating or Ken Berkowitz? Or did they have a wiretap? Because who gave up that conversation?
Good point. Somebody heard it.
Mike?
Yeah, I do. It must have been caught on a wiretap.
That's what I'm saying.
And the fact of it is, too, like they say they recused it, but then they still have the evidence.
They're all over it.
Police department.
They're all over it.
So they're full of shit, even in their recusal.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then they used the King Mofo to say, no, we just recused ourselves out of the interviews. Oh, okay,
right.
Yeah, out of the interviews. King Mofo.
Yeah.
That's right, Leah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're waiting on Sully's book. They want Sully's book too now.
Yeah. The medical examiner, right, Leah?
Yeah.
Who can't tell how John died.
Exactly.
But yet they're charging Karen with murder too.
Exactly.
Give me a break.
That's the whole case right there. Over and over again. You can't even prove how he died.
Yeah. Amazing. So, well, Michael, again, it's always a pleasure.
Yes.
I'll come back anytime. You got to come on my show, man.
I'll come on anytime. You let me know,
that'd
Sean.
Be great, man. That'd be great.
You want me Friday? I'm there. Let me know.
Yeah, you got it, my friend. All right.
Awesome.
Well, listen, all the people in the chat there, you guys make it easy for us. You give me, I'm sure Mike said, you give me all the motivation there is. And I can't be any prouder to be a part of this group with these many people. And we're all on the right side of history here. You're going to love the fact that you're going to be on the right side of history. You all chose common sense over buffoonery. They're all a bunch of buffoons. That's all I got to say.
Absolutely. I can't wait. And I can't wait to see that little documentary you talked about, the project.
Oh, yeah. I won't give it up.
Do you have any idea when that might happen?
Well, it has to come out after the case, obviously. Yes. But 4 hours, they had the whole thing, the lights, the grip, the mic guy, the interviewer. Don't look at me, Sean. Look at this. Don't look at that camera. Look at that. It was crazy. It was pretty good. And all because of you, Mike, because
Hollywood is watching. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you never know who's watching. It's crazy of all the people watching.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm telling you, this is an awesome case. It really is. And it's going to get better. It really is.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sean. You have a great night. Thank you so much for your time. And
thank you, Michael.
Yeah. Make sure that everyone, thank you, Sean, that everyone subscribes to an S.A. McDonough on YouTube. We put it in the chat. It's linked in the chat, YouTube chat. Please follow him. Make sure you're subscribing. Get us both to 20,000. We want to get to 20,000. Let's say by tomorrow morning. Let's get Sean's show and the Young Jurks both at 20,000 on YouTube. It's going to happen, whether it's a day or two, but let's try to speed it up by tomorrow morning. By the time everyone's watched the live show tonight, let's get us both to 20,000. That's a big benchmark for both of us. I want to thank the super chats that came in tonight. Caroline on the Cash App, she sent $10. She said, great show as always, Mike. Thank you so much, Caroline. Thank you for donating. She's a regular contributor to the show. Thank you so much. We also had some come in on the Venmo. Sheila Tucker sent $5 with a question mark. Thank you so much, Sheila Tucker, with a question mark. I'm not sure what your question was, but I appreciate the donation. Gary sent $10. He said, great show with Sean. Thanks. No, thank you, Gary. Also, Wendy sent $20. She's I think she's one of the admins on Sean's YouTube chat. She says, love you and Sean together. You balance each other out perfectly. I love Sean. We really do. He's like my father. Kathy sent $10, and she said, thanks for the evening Karen Reed wrap-ups. They're so good. Thank you so much, everyone who's been donating, contributing, super chatting, sharing. What I really like is when you're sharing it with your friends and family. I've been hearing a lot about that people are telling me that their aunts and their uncles and their grandparents are watching. Pretty amazing. Thank you so much. I hope I got all the super chats up tonight. I tried. There were a lot of them, over 50 again. I want to thank everyone who's been becoming new members. I want to thank everyone who's sent the super chat donations tonight. I want to thank our mods, especially Stephanie and MJ. Everyone who's been moderating for us lately. Stephanie gifted 10 memberships. MJ also last night gifted some memberships too. So I want to thank them so much. Not only do they dedicate their time, they've been kicking in donations too, which is a little, I feel like I owe them, honestly. When they do the donations, I'm like, why are they donating? Because I owe them. I don't, but it is nice when it's memberships because you're gifting the membership to other people. So that's very nice. MJ's right there. Everyone smash the like on your way out and subscribe. My friend J Max is watching. He says, great guest. Listen to the two of you anytime. Thank you so much, J Max. I'm always glad when you're listening. You're a good man. Just had another super sticker come in from Shells. I want to thank everyone for everything. This has been an amazing run that we're doing. There's a reason why I've been going live every night. It's because of you all. So I want to thank you so much. All right, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we'll be back broadcasting live, streaming from court tomorrow morning. Yeah, let's go tomorrow. I can't wait. I guess we're at 19,500 right now. So let's get us over 20,000. And Sean, let's get him over 20,000 too. Yeah, good night, everyone. I got to go out. I got to go see another dog, actually. I got to go walk some dogs again. I've been doing overnights. I've been so busy with the dog business and the show, obviously. Oh, man, I can't wait. A couple nights, I'm going to slow down with the dog business, hopefully. But I want to thank you all. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Peace. Later.